Coming this fall from SJS Direct in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. You can pre-order your copy of The Man Crisis today on Amazon.com. The Nike Corporation has decided to show how woke they are by hiring former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kappernick to be the face of their 30th anniversary campaign for Just Do It. And with your Nike Corporation hiring Colin Kappernick to be the face for their 30th anniversary of Just Do It, your Nike shows that they're hypocrites, and they are showing everyone that they're more out to pander for black dollars as related to identity politics than go out here and just sell sneakers, because everything that they're doing with the Just Do It campaign is completely contradictory to the original mission of Just Do It. Now, back in 1988, when I was in high school, because I was in Park West at the time, we had these commercials with Mars Blackman, who was portrayed by Spike Lee, and he would talk all about Michael Jordan and say, was it the shoes? Is it the shoes? And it was all about Michael Jordan selling his Air Jordan sneakers to people. And with the whole Just Do It campaign, it was all about selling sneakers to primarily black audiences. But we have today, we have the Nike Corporation talking about they're going to celebrate the campaign for Just Do It by talking about you need to believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And what makes this message really contradictory is that your Phil Knight, a couple of years after black men were being murdered for Air Jordan sneakers in the street, said that he wasn't responsible, just like your Michael Jordan said he was not responsible for the deaths of any of those black men who died because someone wanted to take their, at the time, $100 Air Jordan sneakers. So we have this company talking about believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, but they didn't care when black men were losing their lives over these sneakers 30 years ago. So when they sit there and talk about Just Do It, again, that's contradictory to the original ideas of your Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, and your Michael Jordan. It shows how hypocritical they are when it comes down to the advertising for Just Do It. It was okay for them to do what they wanted in selling these sneakers to the black masses, but when those black men were dying in the street over these sneakers, even as late as the last 2 years ago, the same response comes from your Phil Knight regarding these Nike sneakers. They're not responsible for the lives of black men which were sacrificed for these sneakers, which all these black men believed in wearing because they believed that by wearing these sneakers they got social currency. But they want us to believe that the image of Colin Kaepernick talking about believing in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, should be part of their Just Do It campaign. It just shows how full of crap the Nike Corporation is related to this advertising campaign and how hypocritical the Nike Corporation is. Now, what makes the Nike Corporation dysfunctional is them trying to use Colin Kaepernick as the face for this 30th anniversary campaign for Just Do It. And what that makes it, dysfunctional is you got the face of a man who didn't sacrifice anything at all for the Just Do It. Because I sit there and I ask myself, what did Colin Kaepernick sacrifice? All he did was he tried to hustle people by pretending to take this knee as related to this so-called protest. And the protest really was not about police brutality as it relates to your Colin Kaepernick. The whole protest was all about your Colin Kaepernick running a game on the NFL, because your Colin Kaepernick was playing for a last place team in the San Francisco 49ers, and he wanted to get traded. So he went out here and he made this political protest in the hopes of getting the owner to trade him or to be able to be optioned for a better deal. Unfortunately, everything has snowballed as a result of your Colin Kaepernick's race hustling, and it all led to him winding up being released from the San Francisco 49ers and then winding up being blacklisted from the NFL. Now, was there any racism as related to Colin Kaepernick possibly being blacklisted? Maybe there was, but your Colin Kaepernick's motives for going out here and creating that protest, they were disingenuous because it wasn't about stopping police brutality as related to your Colin Kaepernick. No, your Colin Kaepernick was trying to get a better deal for himself, and he thought he could play the race card to get that better deal to cover up for his mediocre football play, because your Colin Kaepernick, again, was on a last place team, and his stats just weren't that great. And he thought that he could play the race card and possibly get a deal where he could get traded or he could go into free agency and get another contract so that he could make more money. Unfortunately, things didn't go that way, and we have most of these people out here, they're all emotional about Colin Kaepernick, and they're getting caught up in the race argument regarding your Colin Kaepernick, but they're not seeing how this biracial race hustler is taking advantage of everyone and taking advantage of the situation and trying to make the situation benefit him economically. Unfortunately, the NFL has balked at Colin Kaepernick, but in their attempt to show how woke they are, your Nike Corporation has decided to hire Colin Kaepernick in order to show how not racist they are and how they believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. However, they didn't care when black men were being gunned down in the street over Air Jordan sneakers over 25 years ago. They didn't care about lowering their prices because they didn't care about black lives. But they want us to believe that we need to stand behind Colin Kaepernick and we need to stand behind him because he so-called sacrificed everything, but he didn't sacrifice anything. All that happened was your Colin Kaepernick decided that he was going to run a game on the NFL, and the NFL balked at his game. He was nothing more than a professional grandstander, just like many of these baseball players and basketball players who thought that their talent was so great that they could get a better deal. Unfortunately, again, his stats and numbers did not prove that he was worth that type of money. He was not anybody on the level of a Tom Brady, nor was he on the level of an Eli Manning. But the way your Colin Kaepernick thought was because he was black, he deserved to get money like Eli Manning and Tom Brady. However, it just doesn't work that way. When it comes down to NFL owners pay for performance, and your Colin Kaepernick just did not perform on the field. He spent more time focusing on theatrics than he did focusing on being the best NFL player in the league. Because if he was the best player in the league, he would not be a part of this Just Do It campaign. Now, this whole Just Do It campaign 30th anniversary, again, this is a gimmick by Nike to try to show how woke they are, because many of these people in these companies, they are following the narrative of far left ideologues, and they believe that if they show how woke they are, they'll be able to reach these millennial audiences. But what they don't understand is that when it comes down to companies showing how woke they are, what happens is they wind up going broke. And an example of this is Marvel Comics. Now, Marvel Comics, over the last 3 or 4 years, decided that they were going to shoehorn diversity into their comics, replace popular iconic characters like Captain America with the Falcon as a black guy, Iron Man with a black woman, Thor with a woman, and then go out here and have Kamala Khan being Ms. Marvel and Miles Morales being the Hispanic Black Spider-Man. And they put them in the lead of their comics, and what happened was their sales dropped 90%. And that all led to what many comic fans called SJW Marvel and the complete near collapse of Marvel Comics. Now, the same thing is happening with your Nike right now. There's this huge backlash as a result of hiring Colin Kappernick, and you have all these people getting emotional about the hiring of Colin Kaepernick. And instead of them seeing Nike as a positive brand, they are getting turned off because your Nike has decided to enter the realm of identity politics, and they decided to push a forced diversity narrative with a phony spokesperson who talks about believing in something and sacrificing everything when he never made any sacrifices like your Muhammad Ali made when he was drafted for the Vietnam War, and your Muhammad Ali dropped his heavyweight championship belts where he made that sacrifice, and he literally even went to jail in order to stand for what he believed in. Nor did he make the same stand as those three brothers on that Olympic stage when they put their fist up for the Black Power salute, where they had their medals taken from them. Those men made sacrifices. Those men had losses. Your Colin Kaepernick really did not lose anything at all. I mean, your Colin Kaepernick could have easily gone on to do other things, because what happened here was we had a prima donna football player who thought he was all that. He made an ultimatum to a football team in an effeminate way, and those NFL owners, yes, they might be racist, they decided that they wanted to spend their money elsewhere and build up their teams with someone who would be more of a team player. But your Nike, as it got woke, decided this man would be the face of their Just Do It campaign. Again, a complete contradiction from the original Just Do It campaign, which was all about Spike Lee, as Morris Blackman, wondering if it was all about the shoes, and Michael Jordan dunking with those Air Jordan tennis shoes. So I look at that and I say to myself again, this whole campaign is just Nike trying to show how woke it is, but now heading towards the road to going broke. Now, the emotional responses from people about this Just Do It ad featuring Colin Kappernick, these responses, they're quite troubling. We have people burning Nike sneakers, and again, that really doesn't help anything. It just shows how emotional some people are, both black and white, because I've seen blacks and whites talking about burning Nike sneakers, but that doesn't help anything, because what happens is you already paid for those sneakers. So that doesn't really send any sort of message as a protest. And there was one racist who burned the sneakers while they were on his feet, and that just showed how dumb some people are and how caught up in their emotions they are regarding this. Now, if these people were all serious about trying to be angry at Nike, again, they would have been angry at Nike back when I was angry at Nike back in the early 90s, when your Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, said he was not responsible for the deaths of all those young brothers out there who wound up dead because somebody wanted to take their Air Jordan sneakers. They would be angry when Michael Jordan said he wasn't responsible for the deaths of all those black men who died for those sneakers. And they would be angry at Nike for charging those high prices for those sneakers way back then. Because I remember as a teenager back in 1988, early 88 and 87 really, a pair of Nike sneakers, Air Jordans, were only $50, and the adult ones, the Air Jordan 2s, I believe, they were $60. They didn't get up to $100 until Air Jordan 3, and I believe it was Air Jordan 3 or 4 that we started to see the price escalate. And then we started to see black males seeing Air Jordans as some sort of status item. And when they became a status item, that's when we started to see black men killing each other over these sneakers. And while those black men were killing each other over those sneakers, everybody was telling them to just do it. But now everybody's angry because they've made Colin Kaepernick the face of the Just Do It campaign. And again, that shows how disingenuous many of these Americans are and how they're now against Nike, a company where they were buying these sneakers for years. And they were buying these sneakers because they believed they were social currency. But they no longer are social currency because now it is associated with being woke. And when companies go woke, what happens is, in most cases, they go broke. And Nike is on the way to going broke because it decided to make Colin Kaepernick, a disingenuous black man, the face of their new Just Do It campaign. This biracial race hustler is all about the money, in the same way Michael Jordan was all about the money back in 1988. There is no political cause behind your Colin Kaepernick. Your Colin Kaepernick is just out to get paid, and he's out to get paid at the expense of all those black people who think that this guy is the real deal, but he's not the real deal. He's just a race hustler using his biracial race hustle on the black side in order to get dollars on the white side. If you'd like to try some of my SJS Direct publications, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, The Temptation of John Haynes, the Spinsterella trilogy, and my men's issues books like the Simp series, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.